30th of April 1984 was a major event in the history of the United Kingdom. This was the day when Caliphate Ahmadiyya migrated to the United Kingdom. It was a day of mixed emotions. We were very happy to see our beloved Hazur amongst us and saddened by the manner and the reason of his departure from Pakistan. The Jamaat-e-Ahmadiyya had to adjust very quickly to changing circumstances. Suddenly becoming the seat of Khilafat, the activity of the Jamaat expanded beyond any imagination. When Hazrat Khalifatul Masih Rabi Rahimahullah arrived, our Jamaat was still very small. And indeed, at the first Jalsa Salana, two sessions were held. The first two sessions were held in the Mahmud Hall, which could only accommodate between 300 and 400 people. And the final session, when Hazur addressed the Jamaat, took place in Tolworth Recreational Centre, in which approximately 1,500 men and a similar number of women attended the event. As Khilafat arrived without its support network, one of the first tasks that Hazrat Khalifatul Masih undertook was the training of youth of the United Kingdom in the Nizam-e Jamaat, and in order that they could become effective helpers of Hazrat Khalifatul Masih. Hazrat Khalifatul Masih Rabi Rahimahullah had many schemes that he wanted to implement, and he was in a hurry to put them into immediate effect. His prime wish was to introduce the beauties of teachings of the Holy Quran to the world in their own languages, and the translation of the Holy Quran was started in many languages, but this was a massive task. Hazur suggested that selected verses of the Holy Quran and the sayings of the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and selected writings of the promised Messiah al-Islam should be translated in major languages of the world. His aim was to celebrate the first centenary of Ahmadiyya in 1989 in a befitting manner. Soon, Fazl Mosque was proving to be too small. Therefore, on Hazur's instruction, a 29-acre site was purchased in Tilford, near Farnham, about 35 miles from London. Immediately after the purchase, young Khudam, Ansar and Lajnas spent many hours renovating and beautifying the site. A new printing press was set up in the new premises with storage facilities. Accommodation for permanent staff arriving from Pakistan was organized. And based on a dream by Usman Chow Sahib, Hazur decided to name the site Islamabad, and this soon became a hive of activity. The second Jalsa Salana following the arrival of Hazrat Khalifatul Masih took place in Islamabad. The old-style poor marquees were erected for the Jalsa, and the carpets were laid straight onto the grass. It rained very heavily during Jalsa, and the water rose from underneath and made the carpets wet, affecting people's clothing. And the car park became waterlogged, making it difficult for the cars to drive out. Young Khudam practically lifted the cars out onto the main road, but no one complained, as this was our Jalsa on our own land. In latter years, we saw history in the making on this site, where many large Jalsa Salanas and other events were held on this blessed ground. Hazur aimed to introduce Ahmadiyya, the true Islam, to the world and required many more missionaries. In 1985, he announced the new scheme of Waqf-e-Nau, and he urged the parents to devote their unborn children for the service of Islam. The scheme, like all schemes announced by Khulafas, became extremely successful. Parents from all around the world gave pledges for their yet unborn children. We also saw many major developments during this period, including the creation of MTA. Muslim Television Ahmadiyya was an astounding and lengthy history that begins in 1989. The creation of this channel saw the fulfillment of Hazrat Masih Maud-Islam's revelation, "I shall cause thy message to reach the corners of the earth." The first broadcast went out on the 24th of March 1989, when the first live broadcast of Hazrat Khalifatul Masih Rabi Rahimahullah's Friday sermon was conducted by telephone lines to Mauritius in Germany. On the 7th of January 1994, MTA had begun to telecast daily transmissions. And from the 1st of August 1995, number of hours of the daily transmissions of MTA gradually rose from 3 to 5 hours. And by the grace of Allah, on the 1st of April 1996, MTA began 24 hours of daily transmission. More recently, under the guidance of Hazrat Khalifat Masih Fakhamas Ayatollah bin Nasr Aziz, MT has grown from strength to strength with new structures and programming. Additionally, Huzur has introduced new services, including Al Arabiya, which has spread the message of MTA to the Middle East. Programs like Raya Huda, Real Talk, and Faith Matters have opened a global dialogue about Islam and Ahmadiyya, as well as to increase the number of baths into the Jamaat through this channel. MTA is now also available on YouTube, Twitter, and various apps and Android devices. The weekly newspaper Al-Fazl International started its publication from London on the 7th of January 1994. The paper is also available on the internet and enjoys international readership, along with the Arabic magazine Al-Taqwa and the English magazine The Review of Religion, which was started by the Promised Messiah al-Islam and is now being printed at the Rakim Press in Islamabad, Tilford. As a recognized homeopath, Hazrat Khalifat Masih Rabe considered the homeopathic treatment appropriate for the poor and the less developed countries. He started giving lessons of homeopathy through MTA and soon introduced homeopathic treatment throughout all the mission houses of the world. As a result, thousands of people who benefited are still benefiting from this treatment, which is absolutely free for all. Another scheme for the compassion was to set up the independent charity Humanity First. This is an organization that is to help humanity, irrespective of race, religion, or ethnicity. All over the world, its presence is felt through its disaster relief programs. Another program of the Jamaat soon demanded larger the progress of the Jamaat soon demanded larger premises, both for prayer and administrative facilities. On Huzur's instruction, a suitable site was purchased in March 1996. Naming it Beth al-Futuh, the House of Victories, Huzur Yaqtas launched an appeal to raise funds for the construction of a large mosque, and the work started in earnest when Huzur laid the foundation stone in 1999. I wish I had the time to catalogue the achievements of Hazrat Khalifat Masih Rabe, but I'm constrained by time. He was an intellectual man, full of secular and religious knowledge, an extremely eloquent person with a versatile person who can be best described as a sage. He was always occupied in ways to fulfill the mission of the Promised Messiah al-Islam, and yet he had time to write his own magnus opus, the famous Revelation, Rationality, Knowledge and Truth. No wonder he was called the man of God. He was indeed the man of God. Hazrat Mirza Tahir Ahmad Khalifat Masih Rabe delivered his last sermon at the London Mosque on the 18th of April 2003, and that evening attended a lively Majlis Irfan. That was the last Majlis Irfan that the UK Jamaat had time to spend with Huzur Aqdas, and on the 19th of April 2003 at 9:30, he passed away in his residence in London. Inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi raji'un. We are from Allah and indeed return to Him. The scenes in and around the Fazl Mosque will forever be etched in our memories. Inside the mosque compound and all the streets around the mosque were full of people, all waiting with great apprehension for the election of the next Khalifat al-Masih. On the 22nd of April 2000, Sahibzada Mirza Masroor Ahmad was elected as the 5th successor of the Promised Messiah al-Islam. This marked a joyous occasion for the UK Jamaat history, as history took place before us. Millions of people tuned into MTA to watch this event unfold. Tears of joy and relief shed as Huzur Aqdas addressed the Jamaat, urging them to focus on prayer in this new chapter of our history. And I quote, "I have just one request from the Jamaat at this time. Please place great emphasis on prayer. Pray, pray, please pray, please pray." It was with these words that the new era of Ahmadiyya took birth.